again, cooking with what's cooking Jay. Grab a spatula, get ready to sway. Come on and cook with Jay, yeah, cook with Jay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to What's Cooking Jay. I'm Jamie Biancullo, and this is going to be my last segment for this season of Keeping It Real, season 11. So I figured I'm going to end this with the very first meal I ever made. This meal is something I learned when I first became domesticated, and 25 years later, I am a domesticated diva, doing it all. I'm very proud of myself. So this is a meal that I actually made for my dad when he came over to Danny and I's apartment, and it was my first meal that I ever made. And it's chicken parm, which is my absolute favorite, and everyone loves this. If you grew up eating like the chicken tenders and stuff, that's what I used to love. So this was one of the things that I was passionate about learning how to make, breaded chicken, fried chicken. So this is one of my favorite and my first meal I've ever made. So I'm going to teach you guys my techniques on how I make this. It's very easy to do. Everything I do is not from scratch. I don't make my own pasta and I don't make my own sauce, but somehow, some way, I make it really good, and it's really yummy and everyone loves it, and it's always a big hit at parties. And you can actually make this, just the breaded chicken alone, or side it with mashed potatoes, broccoli, something, a vegetable on the side. Danny and Jace love to eat it just alone. So you're gonna need, for this portion, I did a 4-pack of chicken breast. You're gonna need eggs, you're gonna need pasta sauce, you're gonna need olive oil, you're gonna need breadcrumbs, mozzarella cheese, parm cheese, and I think that's about it. So I'm gonna start getting this going. I already did a lot of the breaded chicken already to cut this in time here. So we're gonna use olive oil, and you wanna just put this in your pot. You wanna cover the bottom of it. You don't want to add too much. You can add more if you need it as you're going along with this. And you're gonna put this on a medium-high heat. So we're gonna get this going. I got it on like a 6-7, because you definitely don't want to put the chicken on too early. You want to make sure this is heating up. So this is, I already cut my chicken, and I sliced my chicken. I did the video of my chicken on how I slice it down in one of my other YouTube videos, my recipe. I showed you guys how I do it. So I always do all my chicken. I cut all the fat and all the veins and everything off of it, and I make it nice and thin, okay? So with this 4-pack of boneless chicken, I used about 6 to 7 eggs, and you just want to put them in a bowl, whip them up, and you're going to take your chicken and you're just going to put them, dip them into the egg. Very easy to do. I mean, I know a lot of people probably already do this type of thing, but for the people who don't, this is how you do it. So you just put it into the egg, and then you're going to put it into the breading. Now, I only use the Progresso breadcrumbs, the Italian breadcrumbs. This is the best breadcrumbs to use for this. I would not suggest to use anything else, because this is the best one to have. I've tried other ones and I don't like them. So you're just gonna bread this up nicely. You get it on both sides, and it's really just a light breading. It's not like too heavy. Like, when you get the frozen chicken tenders, like really, it's thick on there. So we're gonna bread up a couple of these. And today, this is the pot I'm using, okay? This is the pot that my mother-in-law got me 25 years ago, and this is when I made this chicken parm the first time, that's the pot that I used it, right? I made it all in this pot that she gave me, and Danny. And so Danny decides for Mother's Day, he wants me to retire it, so he bought me a new set. So I'm just gonna bread these up. I'll finish these later. I'm gonna get this heated up, and Danny's gonna show you guys the new set, and I'm gonna go wash my hands off really quick. Danny, yeah. You can talk about your set real quick.
I figured after all these years, and it was 24 years, not 25. Don't get ahead of yourself. 25 years together in October, married 24 years in July. But yeah, Mother's Day, I went out and got her a nice little set. I don't know how effective it is. My mother swore by those pots, and we're not throwing them out by no means. Jaden, we're going to pack them up in this box, and when he's ready, 20 years from now, to move out.
When he's ready 20 years from now.
So anyway, this was one of my Mother's Day gifts for you. And
yes, that was one of them.
As good as these pans, because every meal you've made in them have been delicious.
Thank you, Danny.
And thank you, Mom, for it. But yeah, it's time to go.
Thank you.
Back to work.
Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome.
So I'm just going to let this heat up a little bit. And like I said, You don't necessarily have to make this as a chicken parm meal. You can make this as just by itself, or at mashed potatoes, a side of vegetables. And you can also bread this up earlier in the day and then fry it up later on. I would not suggest to do, like, if you're having a party, because this is a big hit when you are having a party, not to leave it overnight because it gets soggy. It's just not good. So, but it will stay fresh if you do it earlier in the day and you're going to fry it up later. So I'm just going to let this heat up a little bit more because I definitely want you guys to see, you know, how crispy it gets. And this has always been a big hit. Every time I make it for everyone, they just absolutely love it. Like I said, I don't make things from scratch, but I do love Newman's own. All of his products are amazing. The pizzas, the sauce, anything. They do cookies. Everything is all nonprofit. It all goes to charity. So it's actually really good to buy this one. And it doesn't have all that junk in it. And I've actually tried the jar sauces that are like $10 and they're not good. So, but Newman's is really good. Like I said, the Progresso breadcrumbs, the Italian breadcrumbs, these are the ones that you always want to use. And every meal that you make that you use breadcrumbs, you definitely want to use the Progresso. And I will be using the Sargentino mozzarella. I like the finely shredded one for this because I'll show you later why I like the fine one. And you're going to need the Parm cheese. So we got that. Oh, the pasta, the Barilla protein pasta, angel hair. We love this one. I do not like the thin pasta because there's a difference. I don't like that one. I like the angel hair. But you can use any pasta that you want. If you like penne, whatever. Whatever pasta you want to use with it, that's fine. I just do it with the angel hair. And I absolutely love the protein pastas. All right, let me see. I'm going to see if I can get this going. This should be hot enough here. Let's see. Yep, you hear it frying. If I could, it should get a little bit hotter because we want it to sizzle. We want to sizzle it on there. And like I said, you don't want to put, you're not deep frying this, so you don't want to put too much oil in the pan. I've actually made it in front of other people who make food and they make stuff like this and they tell me, oh, that's a little bit too much, but then they see it absorbs as you go on. So that might be a little tricky when you're learning how to fry the food, that you don't fry it in too deep of oil. You just want it to be lightly, but then you don't want not enough because then you're gonna have to add it right away. And usually with like a 4-pack like this, I will have to add more, you know, by the time I'm done frying all this. So we're gonna get this going here. We're just gonna put a few pieces on here to show you guys. And the kids love this. This is great for parties. So once I'm done frying them, I put them on the paper towel so it absorbs all the grease on there. And they can cool for some time. We leave them out for a couple of hours before we put them in the refrigerator. And one tip that we do is we put them in a baggie and let that baggie air out before you close it. And just for whatever reason, it helps keep them nice for at least a night, you know. We like to eat them up within the day, but the kids will eat them up even the next day. So we're just gonna fry this up here. You just wanna make sure that your pan is heated well before you put them on. And you know, of course I'm doing this show, so I don't wanna like waste too much time on it, so should have let it heat up a little bit more, but it's still good. Okay, so we're gonna let that. Another tip that I do with the jarred sauce, right? It has great flavor in it as well. Love the Saccaroni one, but all their flavors are good. Jaden loves the basil one. But I always add spices, a little spices to them. So I always add like parsley, oregano. If you want a little spice, which I did add to this today, put a little crushed pepper in there and a little garlic powder. Another tip that I do with my pasta, just to make it look fancier, well, I always put the olive oil on it after you cook it. You want to put, so it doesn't stick all together. But I always add parsley to it and mix it around and just makes it look good. It gives a little flavor, but it's more or less for looks. You know, when you go out to these restaurants, they always have like, it's all fancy. And I'm all about presentation, making everything look good, cooking with love. Yeah, see, all that oil is already cooked down in here. So I'm just gonna let this, and because this is thin, it doesn't take that long to fry up and to cook all the way through. Some people like it thicker. I do not. Like I've talked about before, I love thin slice, and I pretty sure everyone that I make this for likes it thin as well. And the fact that it doesn't take that long to fry up. So I'm just gonna give this another second here. So this is going to be my last segment for a little bit with the Cooking with Jay, What's Cooking Jay segment for Keeping It Real. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate all the love and the feedback that I got from it. Thank you for everyone who has shared my YouTube videos and came to our page or channel and liked it and subscribed to it. I really appreciate all that. It helps me move the show along and be able to get it out there and everyone to see. I know I'm not a professional and a lot of the stuff that I say might not make sense, but it is what it is and I'm being real, and that's why this is a segment from Keeping It Real. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me in the kitchen. See, that's done. And this is another technique I always do, and I know chefs out there probably like, you should not cook, you should not cut into the meat. But this is how I know, okay, it's done, and so I like doing it. So I always cut it, look, it's done, and that's tender. And so this is what I do, I layer it on paper towel. This is how I do it. Let me see here. Let me make sure this is all done here, yep. And another tip that I gave before when I was making my chicken, for every first batch, this is Mike's batch, he gets the first batch. Every batch gets better because the pan gets more heated, the flavors get more into the pan. So the first batch is always the one that's, got the little work and needs a little more work as it goes on. So the second and the third batch is the better batches. So this is what I do, and then I put, which I forgot to put more paper towel over here, and then I'll put another paper towel on top of this to get all that grease off. And then I just layer it as I'm making it. I just keep layering it. So you don't want to put your chicken on top of each other like this. So I layer it like 4 or 5 pieces, whatever will fit on this paper towel, and then put another paper towel, and then each, stack it up. Okay, so this is what I do with the chicken parm. To make it chicken parm, because you need the cheese on it to make it the chicken parm. I personally don't really like melted cheese too much like that. I don't know, I'm just like weird like that, but Danny does. So this is what I do. So we're gonna put this is your chicken. I'm just gonna grab it with my hand here. Oh, this looks nice already. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and I had put in my spices already in my sauce here. So this is what I do with I don't have that much space here. Okay, this is what I do with the cheese, because it's hot when it comes out. So I just put the cheese a little here on the bottom. And a lot of, I believe, chicken parms would go into the oven and they would bake it to, especially at the restaurants, to bake it, to melt that cheese down. I don't do that. I skip that part, and then I just put the sauce right over it. And everyone's always loved this. Anytime I've made this for anyone, they just absolutely love it. I love getting compliments on the food I make. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is right, and unless people are lying to me about how much they like it, but I think you can tell when someone likes your food or not. So I'm gonna add a little, always locatelli. I always have locatelli in the house, and any Italian dish I make, I will be adding the locatelli to it. So we're just gonna add a little cheese to it, and this is so simple. Anyone can make this, but you're gonna impress people with this. So we're just gonna put some. And you know what else you can do on the top of it? We're gonna add, because I know the people just love the cheese. That looks good. And you can even add a little parsley or any Italian seasoning on the top just to make it look fancier. Look how great that looks, right? That is hearty. Mike is definitely gonna enjoy that. Again, everyone, this is going to be my last segment for a while, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I have enjoyed putting all my recipes out there, and hopefully you guys keep watching them all back, and I will be back it will be season 12 for Keeping It Real. Thanks, everyone.
It's time to get cooking with What's Cooking Jay. Grab the apron top that they get it ready to play. We're mixing our flavors, making magic on your plate. With every sizzle, every stir, it's gonna be great. Turn up the heat, let the music take control. We're gonna rock this kitchen and satisfy your soul. So grab a spatula, prepare this way.